Yo, 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 yo. Big Kish back up in here. Shout out to FD Signifier. This is the Signified B-side. I think he got a multiple amount of channels. And this brother's very intelligent. Y'all know me. I value the intellect. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we're gonna dive into this video. The title reads, "Them predators move in flocks." I don't know if you can say that on YouTube. That's why I chopped it up a little bit. But we about to get into this video. Y'all know I'm like holding y'all. Without further ado, let's get it.
So I talk for a living now, and that means I give a lot of hot takes. Some of those don't age well, some do, but never have I had a take that has aged as well as calling Drake stans losers. I have never had a hot take being proven right so frequently in my entire life. In late January of 2025, stream.
Hey, look, they say the truth hurts. When you say something and it triggers everybody, you saying something true.
Clips were released of streamer and hip-hop journalists, academics, and several other grown men, and a young streamer named Nargod, I believe that's how you say that, in a Discord chat room playing Fortnite of all things. And I originally came across this from streamer Screwface Gene, which, shout out to him for being one of the bigger people.
Screwface John, we know Screwface over here. Screwface be packing them up, man. Packing them up.
People to bring attention to this, but now these clips are all over Twitter, so it's likely you've seen them before even clicking on this video. And you've seen them because in these clips, it's confirmed that academics and at least one other guy are engaging in an extremely inappropriate sexual conversation with this 15-year-old boy. I'm not gonna replay the clips here because low-key I'd be scared to, but to
thank God, I'm tired of looking at him. Tired of listening to him.
Summarize, in this Discord chat, they offered to send strippers to this boy's house. They asked him over and over again about having sex with women and girls, many of which would have been adult women. Academics asked him about having sex with someone's older sister and then asking him about having sex with an older man. At least one guy, who I will point out is not academics, straight up says to this 15-year-old boy, "If I can't fuck you, I'm cutting you off." And academics is egging this on, by the way. And it's my understanding that this guy in particular,
just like academics egg on a lot of things, like the Chicago young teenagers out there deleting themselves, getting in battles and stuff like that. He eggs it. He's behind it. He don't understand. I don't know if he do or don't, but he do some evil work, y'all.
Is Tory Lanez manager, yet another connection to the Drake Legion of henchmen.
Oh, so this is, I'm assuming this is the guy. It said Tory Lanez manager. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's creepy. That's creepy.
Even in this description, I cannot do justice to how gross this whole thing was. Not just because of the things coming out of academics and these other men's mouths, but also because it seems like multiple other grown men were present in this and didn't intervene. But the most horrifying and heartbreaking part is this boy's behavior. This boy, Noir, shows an amazing amount of restraint and maturity in the face of this nonsense. It's immediately clear that he is uncomfortable. He never plays into this conversation. He tries his best to signal to these dudes to stop. But because these men have power over him and they clearly have no sense, he just kind of is forced to endure this harassment. It's heartbreaking to watch. That said, and from here, it gets a little ranty. Some of this is written, a lot of this is not. I want to break with a lot of others reporting on this story who are saying things like, "I've never seen anything like this before," or "they can't believe this is real." Because I can very easily believe this is real. I know stuff like this has happened before because this is an experience that I've had, that I know a lot of young men have had around older men. And I'm sure.
And I said that before, but my thing is that those experiences that we had with the older guys, they be like, "Oh, how many girlfriends you got? You smashing yet? You getting wet yet? Is it getting wet yet?" You know what I'm saying? Those little type of conversations. They never said, "Okay, would you let, this older guy, would you let him inside of you? Would you let him do something to you?" It wasn't creepy. It wasn't like that. It was like, "Yo, you getting some girlfriends yet?" It was like, it was like that. Ack was trying to make it seem like it was that type of conversation, but it wasn't. When you go over to talking about you inserting yourself into the conversation, you inserting yourself and you and the young boy doing something, bruh, the whole thing is off. The whole thing is bad. You know what I mean? But how he try to make it seem is like, yo, yeah, we just the older big brothers and we just trying to make sure he's straight. You know what I'm saying? Nah, you wasn't doing that. You wasn't doing that. You was being weird, very weird.
If some of y'all saying that thought about it, you'd have your own experiences just like this, because this is sadly something that happens a lot to young boys. We're gonna get away from academics for a second, and I'm gonna try to be as real and as
y'all hear the instrumental he playing in the back. Y'all hear that, right? That's Father Time.
like direct as I can. I'm gonna leave all my $5 words in the background for a minute and not cite any theorists, philosophers, nothing. Just kind of real talk y'all for a second, so y'all can hopefully, some of y'all, not everyone, but a few of y'all that I know will end up watching this can hear me for once. I gotta be real. If you have a prepubescent, pubescent boy in your life, I guarantee they are being exposed to some type of behavior similar to this right now. In fact, it's probably already happened on multiple occasions by the time they're the same age as Noir is. In fact, right now, if you think about it, you probably know exactly what man or woman that is in your social circle that is completely capable of acting like this around a little boy. There's research that shows that 50% of kids are exposed to pornography before they're 13 years old. And this is boys and girls, by the way. There's so many parents that don't monitor their kids' use of technology. So kids are accessing porn sites in middle schools and showing it to each other. And this particular chat was recorded, right? But so many others are not. And you can't imagine how bad it gets there. Now, I want to be clear before I go on. This next section isn't to be like against the idea of sex and sexuality. Puberty is a natural part of every child's development. And during that section of development, they start to think about and like try to figure out on their own what it means to be an adult. And that will sometimes mean being in weird situations that maybe aren't completely appropriate or maybe even harmful to them to an extent. But the thing is, this is a sensitive part of like human growth and development that should be nurtured and supported. In best case scenario, you allow a young person to self-guide themselves through what being an adult, being a sexual being is. That is normal, natural, and healthy. What you don't want or need is a situation where grown men are forcing a child into a sexual situation as a way of testing their manhood, because that's what this was at its core. One of the guys in this conversation,
they was pressing him. He had his back against the wall. He was trying to laugh it off. He was telling them like, yo, this is weird. He told them this is weird. And they like, no. It's like they had him cornered, bro. They was bullying him. They was pressing him. And no, bro. No, this is something serious, bro. This is something serious. And I'm tired of, I'm tired of the world not protecting young males and men just because they're men. Oh, they don't need protection. They don't need no protection because they're males. Nah, man. Nah.
That happened with Noir says to the boy something along the lines of, hey, you know, a lot of rappers lost their virginity to old women or something like that. And that is true. It's something I've spoken on before. Many notable black men in hip hop and like beyond have had a situation like this. Lil Wayne, Nick Cannon, Chris Brown, Lil Boosie, and many more. That's just off the top of my head. And this isn't just a black thing. Red Hot Chili Peppers lead singer and admitted PDF downloader Anthony Kiedis had done to him by his father what Lil Boosie said he did to his son. Kiedis says that his father, who was a drug dealer in the 70s, brought him to a brothel to lose his virginity at 12. And the same thing happened to Lil Wayne, who says that baby got him a prostitute at 13. I'm not going to go too deep, but just understand, I've done this type of research, and you need to understand that this type of story of men ushering boys into manhood through sexual abuse is way more common than you want to hear. But I also need to point out that it's not just men, it's men and women. In fact, the abuse of boys, the sexual abuse of boys is much more likely to be done by a woman than a man. I've talked about my own experience with abuse as a teenage boy by an older woman. And if you have the guts to talk to some of the men in your life, especially black men or men from a lower socioeconomic status, because those things are big factors in this, you'll find that it's something that happens a lot. When you ask them how they lost their virginity, they'll tell you a story about getting molested by an older woman that they've contextualized as getting a head start or being freaky from an early age, or some other sad shit that boys are told to tell themselves as an excuse for.
DJ Ghost, if any of y'all know DJ Ghost got a story on his platform about, he telling his story as well.
Predatory and grooming behavior by adults around them. Again, understand that the purpose of this is grooming, and that's like what I really want y'all to understand. So many of the problems that many men have with women are a result of this false idea of what a man is supposed to be or how a man acts. And while it's not completely the case here, if you actually go and break down what academics and these dudes are doing, they're trying to groom this boy to be the type of men that they are, the type of men that they think is appropriate and right, because those
whoremonger, into a whoremonger. That's what rap teach us. Sleep with this woman, this woman, this woman. This called scoring. It's called scoring. But you're really training males to be whoremongers. That's what a male whore is. You know what I'm saying?
Those are the type of men that allow them.
It's in movies as well.
To behave the way they behave. And let me hold your hand when I say this, and I need y'all to hear me and not click off the video after you hear this word. This is patriarchy. I know some of y'all want to leave because you hate that word that you've never studied and never actually learned anything about, that wasn't from a red pill TikTok video. But I need y'all to hear me out for a second, because if you actually care about what happened here, then I'm gonna need you to care about this concept and how it really works. The reason a lot of y'all hate that word and the concept of patriarchy is because you don't really know what it is and what it means. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But the main reason is that the greatest trick of patriarchy is for it to be invisible to the naked eye, and for anyone who ever explains it to you to be immediately faced with the fact that you don't really want to understand or know it. You don't want to notice patriarchy, because patriarchy is how things are supposed to be in terms of how we've all been raised. You're not really supposed to see or understand patriarchy. You're just supposed to feel it from the time you're old enough to even understand what a boy or a girl is. This is why the boys' toy aisle at Target is full of action figures and Legos and swords, and the girls' aisle is full of pink Barbie dolls and dresses. And we think that's natural or the way things are, but no, that is a designed aspect of our society. And
it's conditioning. It's conditioning. It's many forms of conditioning.
God forbid you're a boy that even has any interest in a dress or something that a girl's supposed to play for, or a girl that picks up a football or a sword or something. Now, all of this isn't automatically harmful. There's nothing wrong with traditional gender roles, but it sets up a dangerous situation where we go around saying that all this stuff is natural when it's not. It's programming. It's training kids on what it means to be a boy or a girl. When little boys and girls are babies, if you've ever had a child, you understand that sometimes they fall right into those roles and sometimes they do not, and you have to teach them that. Inevitably, there will always be people who don't perfectly fit into these roles and people who don't like what these roles require of them. But if you don't play your role as a man or woman, people will punish you, and we all know this. And some of y'all may be thinking I'm going to a way different place in this, but no, this is for regular ass men, because you don't have to go too far on social media to hear men talking about the loneliness epidemic, hear men struggling about expressing their emotions, how it feels like nobody cares about them, how they don't have strong relationships in their lives, and the unfair and unrealistic expectations of men in the world. But nobody wants to point out the fact that all of this stuff starts in childhood when you're a 4 or 5 year old boy and something bad happened to you and you cried, and an adult in your life that you trusted, likely your mother or father, told you that you are no longer allowed to cry because of your gender. And it's so frustrating because dudes think I be getting into my super feminist bag as a way of simping. I'm trying to save you.
He cooking. It's just like, all right, through tradition, a lot of males are taught, you gotta have the cowboys and the guns. You're supposed to shoot, and some men like, cleaning up. You know what I'm saying? Cooking. You know what I'm saying? Like things that they would teach that, oh, that's effeminate. You're not supposed to do that. Well, I cook, I clean, I wash clothes. I like to do, those are the things I like doing, amongst some other things. You know what I mean? That and through that conditioning, you only taught to yeah, this is manly stuff. This is manly stuff and this isn't. Oh, you doing that? Oh, that's not manly stuff. You shouldn't do that. It's conditioning. You know what I mean? It's so many levels you could get into that conversation. But now I mean certain things I don't agree with. Like for instance, uh the sister, who is it? Gabrielle Union, Dwayne Wade, how they just allow their son or daughter to just be whatever they want. I don't agree with stuff like that. I don't agree with stuff like that. I don't agree with stuff like that. Now, say if my one of my sons was like, "Hey, Dad, I want to learn how to sew," I'm not gonna sit up there and be like, "Oh, no, that's not manly. You're not supposed to do." I'm not gonna do that. That's something that he want to learn. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just that type of conversation could go very deep, and there's levels to it as well.
Y'all niggas, and some of y'all don't want to hear it until something like this happens. So considering that so many of us have that experience, of course you learn not to engage with your emotions and you don't develop communication skills around your feelings and needs and challenges. And yes, many women in your life will look down at you and call you sassy when you do engage with these things because they're raised in the same patriarchal household that you are. And so you don't want to be called soft and you don't want to be called weak and you don't want people to think you're gay, even if you possibly are, because you see how gay people are treated. In fact, you are one of the main people treating gay people in that particular way. And you do that to prove that you're not like them. And you don't want to challenge this thing that I'm talking about because you've been taught that even if that thing feels toxic, even if you deep down know something's wrong, it can't be that. Because if it's that, then something else has to be addressed and y'all don't want to address that shit. A lot of y'all have been groomed by this system so much that when I point this out, that it is a system, that it isn't natural, even as you're suffering from it, your instinct is to defend it. That's how things are. It's natural. People are trying to change too much. You're doing too much. Boys will be boys. I guarantee you, when Academics addresses this, he's going to say something like that. We're just joking. This is what teenage boys talk about. Yes, this is my Academics impression.
That's exactly what Act did too. That's exactly what he doing too.
I gotta have some humor in there somewhere. You get my point though. And low key though, I believe him. If he was to say that, I don't think he really wanted to have sex with that teenage boy. That's a wild sentence that I had to say out loud, but I don't think that. Now, you can't rule that out in terms of like the possibilities, considering like the vastness of the toxic culture of how men and boys treat each other and groom each other. We can't put that past it. There's a lot to that history that I don't want to get into. I'm just saying you can't. But in general, I don't think actual sexual activity was ever intended in this. What they wanted was for this boy to have a visceral negative reaction to the idea of having sex with a man. They wanted him to engage in homophobia with them. They didn't really want him to have sex with grown women or see a bunch of strippers. What they wanted to do was see if he was willing to engage in sexual activity.
All right, but my thing is this, and I disagree. My thing is this: why are they doing that in the first place? For shits and giggles, the joke? Because it's like you got to keep an eye on stuff like that. You can't sit up there and say what it is if they haven't went the whole distance with it, because that's how some of these people do. These predators out here, this is how they do. They start off with jokey, laughing and laughing, but they really have something up under their sleeve. So you can't call it and say, okay, this is what it is. This is what I believe that. Well, maybe he do believe that. That's his beliefs. He's right. He has a right to his opinion, but they wasn't able to go the distance. You know what I'm saying? He way in the other country. Who knows if if one of them was like, all right, when the live went on, let me get your phone number and I'm gonna fly you out or something like. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? That's why you gotta put it into it right then and there. Ain't no plan. You don't play like this. No. Straight like that, man. I don't put nothing past them. They grown men. Why you playing like that? Don't play like that.
For their approval. Understand, a certain type of dude doesn't really even like women that much. They just want women to gain the approval of men around them. Certain type of dudes like academics and the people he admires and hangs out with. And remember, these are elders to Noir. These are his peers whom he needs support of to further his career as a streamer. A connection to academics, as toxic as that is, and these other men would mean the world to this boy. And they know this. But them homeboys need subpoenas, them predators move in flocks. People like academics can't allow just any guy around them that doesn't have the same standards of behavior that he does. Dudes that are okay with violence and abuse and assault toward women can't have stand-up dudes around them holding them accountable. They don't want that. Patriarchy doesn't want that. What it wants, what it needs is for everyone to act accordingly, and anything that doesn't look right according to the situation needs to be checked. Anyone that says they're suffering under the system is lying and just trying to tear good men down or change things too much. And anyone that feels differently or feels like the system is too stifling, then they need to be ridiculed and ostracized. And any women that says that they've been harmed by the system is a liar. That's please tell me y'all see this. And I get it. The message and the messenger on this stuff isn't always perfect. I know everybody started from different situations, and I know that there's many reasons as a man, as a straight man, for you to be hesitant to engage with these topics. I'm not expecting y'all to suddenly start reading Pat Hill Collins or anything. I know folks are gonna have to start at the beginning. I get it, because I was there with you at a certain point, but I'm saying right now, if you really care about this, understand, we're not just talking about what academics did. What we're talking about is how he got caught doing something that so many other men are doing right now. So while we talk about packing him out, understand, we won't. We can't. He keeps surviving this shit because the system requires and expects and rewards his behavior. We've seen this dude hit women. We've seen this dude disrespect so many people. We've heard this dude's sexual assault case. He defended abusers and weirdos on stream for years. I again want to remind y'all that academics became famous for doing some of the worst sellout anti-black shit the internet has ever seen. Trap Lord Ross has nothing on academics. Dude been a weirdo. And look, if it takes him to do some low-key gay shit for y'all to cancel and pack him out like he should have been years ago, I'm not gonna hold y'all, but I'm gonna ask, why do you think that's what it took? Why was this the thing that was a bridge too far for everyone to get on board? What does that tell you about how society works? In this one situation, academics put the real game on blast. He made patriarchy visible, and he'll probably suffer some consequence for that, but not nearly enough. Not until more people get on board with recognizing the system for what it is, or if we're lucky, maybe someone with enough influence with a big enough platform will talk about it for real, and it'll be too big for him to escape. Sadly, a lot of times, the only thing that can happen is someone more powerful.
Now, I can't say if he is or he isn't going to survive this one. All we know is he banned off Twitch, and allegedly Happy Dad has cut ties with him. You know what I mean? But the thing that's keeping him afloat and still here is the streaming. You know, the dude is smart. The dude been to college or whatever. He's a computer whiz. So it's like, all right, long as he got money, how could you truly just get him out of here? How could you just officially just get him off the internet, period? You can't do that. You can't do it. You can't do it unless he goes to jail. Unless he goes to jail, you can't just get him off of here, just make him poof and disappear and be gone. You can't do it. He's still going to be here. So that's the reason why he's still here. It's not that people forgive him. We was on his neck before this happened. We was already on his neck. Most of the YouTubers on his neck before this had even happened. So it's like this wasn't the straw that broke the camel's back. This wasn't it. We been on his neck. You know what I mean? He's a glazer, such and such, and he act always suck. We always been talking about him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, he keep going through these phases of doing what he do, and then we talking about him. And he gonna come back. We still gonna be talking about it, but the internet worldwide ain't gonna be talking about it. It's just gonna be a certain group of people still talking about it after this die down. After this die, we still gonna be talking about it. So I don't think nobody's letting him off the hook. It's just like the only way he's able to officially disappear is if he's in jail or deleted. You know what I'm saying? We out of there. That's the only way. So I don't think that this is forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? Like we keep allowing him to come back. Nah, it's just he's a computer whiz. He's going to do his computer stuff. So it ain't up to us. You know, the internet's a fairly new thing. You know what I mean? World Wide Web. He got fans all over the country, some other different countries. So it's like
holds another man accountable. That's it. Until then, because like I'm not expecting this to change the world, because like that's not what's really needed. On an individual level, you just need to change yourself. You can be solid individually.
That's what I always talk about. You want to see stuff change around you, change within yourself. Change within yourself.
You can keep folks safe next to you and close to you. And when you learn to recognize funny acting dudes, like at a minimum, if we don't do anything specific, recognize this is a pattern. Because as you look and judge academics, again, you know someone that acts just like this, and you give it a pass because it's normal to you, because that's a normal thing to exist. It's not. Well, it is. It is normal, but that's the problem.
I ain't got nobody in my circle that do that. I ain't got nobody in my circle who act like that.
We need to make it not normal anymore. And it might not be your place to call it out, like from your particular standpoint. You can just model and establish a type of energy and timing that you're on, and people will respond accordingly. If you do want to address it like more proactively, recognize it's a process. It's not about spectacle. You don't need to start a podcast or YouTube channel about this shit if you're not really like studying it for real. Just you're gonna do better if you're the type of person that's in my comment section saying my friend, my brother, my cousin, my nephew is getting caught up in X, Y, and Z philosophies and ideologies. Do not send them my video. Go have a conversation with them. Hold them accountable, but understand a call in is better than a call out. Like, have good boundaries, right? Because we know that there are the academics of the world that just need to be about the game, but understand real work is interpersonal. And for those who have those problems, there's always an underlying issue. And when you fully force people out of community, they just get worse. They just find the academics of the world, and it reinforces that shit. The last thing I want to say is shout out to this boy Noir. Like, real talk, as a father, I got like secondhand pride from watching a young man show that much poise and stand on business in front of people that had power over him. Because again, like Ak and all these people, they're streamers. This little boy, 15 years old, but he wants to be a streamer. He wants to be in this hip hop world. And like, to say no to elder men have so much responsibility in this equation. We have so much responsibility to the youth to do better than what this was. But in so many cases, these young men fold under that pressure, and this young man didn't. So more than I even want to attack and take down academics, I want to prop that boy up. Shout out to him. Shout out to his parents and whoever the elders are that are over him, that are teaching him. They're clearly doing something right.
Yeah, the rules are calling somebody out. You don't call them out in front of everybody. You pull them to the side, you know what I mean? Because once you call somebody out and allow everybody else to see, what it does is it brings up a pride. And they're like, oh, you trying to play me, or you trying to embarrass me in front of everybody. And then that person, they don't even get the message no more. It's too cloudy up here. So, yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Some things I do agree with. Some things he just lost me on. You know what I mean? Maybe, hey, look, maybe I'm not that intelligent to keep up with a certain conversation of his intellect. But some things he just lost me on, and I probably don't agree with. But he still cooks. You know what I'm saying? He still cooks. And yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Big Kish signing out. I'm going, y'all.